It's 2018 and DuckTales is once again one of the hottest franchises on television. Scrooge and his entourage can be seen everywhere, from toy shelves to theme parks. It really mirrors the success of the OG DuckTales series from the late 80s. During that time, the Daring Ducks would be found at breakfast, at lunch, in your Happy Meal, or on your Nintendo Entertainment System.
We invited an expert team to our laboratory to give us their opinions of Disney's DuckTales video game from Capcom.
Yes! Awesome!
You'll have exciting adventures helping Scrooge McDuck escape danger and become the richest duck in the world.
Cool. Totally hot. Way radical, man. Excellent. It's a quacker. Oh!
Disney's DuckTales game for your Nintendo Entertainment System by Capcom.
The original DuckTales video game was released in 1989 by Capcom. It was the first licensed game that the company had fully developed and featured a number of the game devs from the highly acclaimed Mega Man series. They did a great job of creating a fun game that also featured many of the characters and locales from the television series. Nintendo Power would list DuckTales as the 13th best game on the NES. The game was so successful, it would receive a sequel, a Game Boy port, and a remake over 20 years later. So, if you folks are looking for even more Quack-n-Slash gameplay, here are 5 games every DuckTales fan needs to play. Number 5, Epic Mickey Power of Illusion. The Epic Mickey series was one of the most ambitious and, if I'm honest, polarizing games produced on a Disney property. While reviews were mixed, Disney fans actually praised the game for its numerous Easter eggs and cameos. Power of Illusion for the Nintendo 3DS was no exception. The game was released in 2012 and featured cameos by Jiminy Cricket, Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, and of course, Scrooge McDuck. After helping out Scrooge, he would appear as a power-up in the game, bringing back his trademark pogo cane move from the NES. And here's one more thing that I always thought was interesting about the game. The title is actually a nod to Castle of Illusion on the Sega Genesis, and even features the same villain, the evil witch Miserable. Number 4, Maui Mallard in Cold Shadow. So this one is without a doubt the most underrated entry on today's list. Cold Shadow was a fantastic title released on the Super Nintendo that features Donald Duck in the meta-fictional role of Detective Maui Mallard. The Gumshoe visits a mysterious island to investigate the disappearance of the Shaboom Shaboom idol. After encountering a local witch doctor, Maui develops the ability to transform into a skilled ninja known as Cold Shadow. Both Maui and Cold Shadow have different skill sets, making for some interesting gameplay when you switch between the two characters. The graphics in this game were absolutely incredible, and the soundtrack was composed by the amazing Michael Giacchino, who's created scores for popular films like The Incredibles, Ratatouille, Up, Inside Out, Zootopia, and Coco, just to name a few. Cold Shadow received a lot of praise, but may have been overlooked by gamers, in part because it showed up so late in the SNES's life cycle. I also think it's cool that the game premiered in North America in 1996 at the Walt Disney World Resort. Guests were invited to test out the game at the Innovations Plaza in Epcot. Altogether, Cold Shadow is a worthwhile game that definitely deserves the attention of any DuckTales fan. Number 3, Kingdom Hearts 2. Kingdom Hearts is, without a doubt, the most successful video game franchise on this list, spanning almost 20 years and over a dozen games. The series owes its success to Square Enix's ability to combine energetic gameplay and an incredible soundtrack. Not to mention the incredible cast of characters that sees the Disney animation library interacting with their live-action properties, like Tron or Pirates of the Caribbean, as well as members of Square Enix's Final Fantasy series. Donald Duck is also a main character in this game, gaining the power of a mage and having the ability to cast spells and heal your party. It's also worth noting that Donald's nephews can also be seen in these games. Uncle Scrooge makes his first appearance in Kingdom Hearts 2. This is where we learn about Scrooge's affection for sea salt ice cream. While he only appears briefly in the game, Kingdom Hearts 2 is probably the best entry in the series, and would be a great recommendation for anyone looking to pick up a fun title. Number 2, Darkwing Duck. The masked Mallard recently popped up again in the new DuckTales television series. The character's popularity in the early 90s made way for Darkwing Duck to receive the video game treatment. Capcom gave us a 2D platformer that took many of the best elements from early NES titles like Mega Man and DuckTales. Darkwing's gas gun would receive power-ups to help you defeat enemies like Quackerjack, Bushroot, and Megavolt. It's also worth noting that DW's daughter Goslin and DuckTales fave Launchpad McQuack both appeared in the game. Darkwing Duck would also receive a port for the Game Boy and an entirely different game for the TurboGrafx 16, but the NES version is still the best. Number 1, Quackshot. So, at first glance, Quackshot for the Sega Genesis looks to be kind of a clone of Capcom's DuckTales. But really, that isn't even a bad thing. You play as Donald Duck, who discovers a map in Scrooge's library. Just like in DuckTales, the player gets to choose which order they'd like to explore each level. There's even a Transylvania level with a Dracula boss fight, just like in DuckTales. Huey, Dewey, and Louie make an appearance, as does Gyro Gearloose. And interestingly enough, Goofy shows up as well. I think the one thing that really helps this game stand apart from its NES counterpart is Donald's special weapon that fires popcorn, bubblegum, and plungers. It's even more powerful, dare I say it, than Scrooge's cane. Understanding your arsenal is essential to conquering this game. The graphics were great, and the music was a lot of fun as well. I think anyone who is a fan of DuckTales will enjoy this game. Now I'd like to hear from you folks. Did you like this video? Would you like to see more videos about DuckTales? Also, would anyone be interested in seeing more videos covering some of Disney's video games, like maybe Kingdom Hearts? Let us know in the comments section below. And please don't forget to click that subscribe button. That way, you won't miss a single episode of DuckTales.